Hello, this is the Cutting Edge Review, and I am your reviewer. And right now, I'm reviewing just when you think the Spider-Man films can't get any worse, they do. And I'm talking about the Amazing Spider-Man 2, released in 2014 as the lowest. It it made 707 billion, I think, in the U.S. or worldwide, and it was the lowest of any Spider-Man film. And I'm gonna get into why. And I think it like I said, it was just when you think these films could not get worse, or they do. And okay, in this movie we get to see Andrew Garfield come back and reprise his role as Peter Parker slash Spider-Man, and then we also see Sally Field return as Aunt May in her amazing role, I think, in the last Spider-Man film, and Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy, and then we see Jamie Foxx in this film. Oh, okay, here we go. And where do I start with this film? I have no clue, but there's also a little teaser part of this movie, and the teaser I'm talking about is the Rhino. You know, the really seriously destroy you. He'll crack a hole in your head, Rhino, on this movie. But it's like you see him, now you don't, now you do. And that's kind of how it was, like a teaser. And people talked about Godzilla 2014. And this movie, we get to see a teaser of the Rhino. I guess it was just kind of odd. He was too much of a kooky character to include in the film, so they decided to leave it all Jamie Foxx. And basically, Jamie Foxx plays a goofy nerd working at Oscorp. And then we get to see, of course, remember that kid from that movie? What was it called? He plays Harry Osborn on this movie as the Green Goblin, and I'm going to get into that right now. But basically, Jamie Foxx plays Electro. Okay, another iconic character, a staple in the Spider-Man universe, and he plays this really goofy guy. Kind of reminds you a little bit, like, you guys remember Batman Forever, and another forgettable film in the Batman and comic book movies. Well, he kind of plays that character, and he plays to a degree where it's just like really really bad acting, you know. And I see Jamie Foxx do a whole lot better than that. And then on this movie, it's like he seems he has no idea what he's doing, or I don't know if it's the writers or something, or maybe because I don't know, he just wanted to be in a Spider-Man movie. But Jamie Foxx did not nail it. He was just terrible. And I like the way he looked as Electro, though. But that was cool. I mean, that was the only shining spot on his role as Electro. And basically, it doesn't really tell you why he decides to hate Spider-Man. He just becomes a hater. And basically in Times Square, and he gets angry and he thinks it's Spider-Man who's doing it to him. So the cops and everybody decides to show up and stuff. And then he's pissed off at Spider-Man now for some reason. Like I said, in these movies, directors must try to rush in with or they don't know what to do with these characters. That's why they need to find people that know these characters. They need to get the writers from Marvel Comics. They need to get people that know what to do. How do these characters become like this? Why do they end up this way? And in this movie, they have no idea. What the hell they're doing on this movie. This movie is just horrible. And I want to move on to the next character, Harry Osborn. We see the Green Goblin on this movie. Basically, the Green Goblin is dying on this movie on a bed. Okay, kind of conjures up a little bit of images when William Dafoe is dead already on the bed. But those are the good Spider-Man movies. These are the horrible. And he's dying basically on this movie, and he looks like a monster. He looks kind of like, you guys ever remember that show B? The lizard people from the Be the series from the 80s. That's what he looks like to me. And it like Lizard Man, like in the last movie. I'm like, what the hell is this? And basically he dies in the movie, and Harry Osborn is played by that kid from Chronicle. And by the way, I love that movie Chronicle. I'll review it one of these days in the future. And that kid, you know, he's an amazing actor. He's a very dramatic actor. He's very powerful in his delivery, and he's kind of lost in this character. I think it's because the writers didn't know what to do. They tried to make it different. They didn't want to copy the Tobey Maguire films. I guess they wanted to do their own thing. And sorry, people, it didn't work out for you. You guys sucked. And basically, he plays the character the best he can, and you know, and he and then Emma Stone on the big story on the big teaser on this movie was that Gwen Stacy was gonna die, and I guess she dies on this movie, and you kind of feel for her a little bit. I would say I was, I wasn't crying at all, but I kind of feel a little bit sorry for her, you know, because basically in the comics originally Green Goblin kills Gwen Stacy, and Spider-Man goes in a bit of rage and kills the Green Goblin, but we don't see that in this movie really. And basically the scene, she falls down. Spider-Man uses his web shooter to try to catch her, and he doesn't catch her. It's a little couple seconds, a little inch off, and then she hit her head hits on the floor, and then we see a little bit of blood here going out of her ear, I think, or something, or her nose, and that was it. It's pretty much it. And you know, and Andrew Garfield tries to play the role like he's sad, like Stacey, I'm lying, but it doesn't work. Honestly, I don't think Andrew Garfield is. They need to dump this guy. They need to get rid of him. And just because British actors are good actors, doesn't mean that they're going to be able to play everything. I wouldn't hire Christian Bale to play Spider-Man though, if you know what I mean. I wouldn't hire him, you know, but I would at least try to hire somebody to fill in the shoes. To me, it's big shoes to fill because Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man, and he is Spider-Man, even though he's not in these films anymore. But he is Spider-Man. To me, he's the best. You know, because I didn't like Tobey Maguire in the beginning. He made a believer out of me. That's what it was. He did it. And Andrew Garfield, you have not made me a believer. I don't think you're good. I think you need to try something else. And you don't look like Peter Parker at all, so in my opinion. And we see Sally Field return on here, and her performance is so far in between that you don't really get to appreciate her range because she's an iconic actress. I mean, Martin Sheen played Uncle Ben in the last movie, so you see that on this movie, and then you know it makes you think a little bit about, okay, the only great actors on this movie were Sally Field and Martin Sheen and Emma Stone, but the rest are just horrible. And I think Emma Stone just does the best she can. And like I said, I'm not really a big fan of Emma Stone being on this movie to begin with, because I think they could have got another Gwen Stacy. But like I said, it's basically a lot of these movies are based on star power. But before Amazing Spider-Man, I didn't know who Andrew Garfield is, and I still don't know who he is. I haven't seen him do anything else. So that makes it fair enough for me to say that he sucks. And if I do see him make something that's worth reviewing about or even praising, I will let you guys know. And overall, this movie was the lowest, and that's pretty easy to see why, because it was a big piece of crap. And so if you guys have any opinions about this, what did you guys think of this film? Did you guys think this film was awesome? If you do, you might want to smack yourself in the face for even thinking that. But like I said, this movie, these movies started out as an idea because they were going to do another Spider-Man film with Tobey Maguire. My God, was that sick they didn't do that. And so they decided, because of the success of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man in 2012, that in 2014 they were going to rush to make another Spider-Man film, and then all of a sudden it was going to be good, and then people were going to actually buy it. But that didn't actually happen. So, like I said, this movie is probably the worst in the franchise. God awful movie. And the Rhino looks ridiculous. He looks like a transformer. And I felt like I was going to see Bumblebee show up or something, and Megatron or and like I said, I was just like, it was like a teaser super villain known as the Rhino. He looks like a guy. He's played by a great actor, by the way. I think he was a great actor. But he's another reason. There's another reason, like Topher Grace. He did not fit in this film either. He doesn't look like Rhino. Rhino is not a small, scruffy-looking guy. And just like Topher Grace, it was not the right film for him. And we're kind of better for it though, because he didn't come on the movie at all. He kind of comes on at the end. He tries to, and that's pretty much it. You know, he tries to fight Spider-Man. Spider-Man dodges him, and that film's over. My God, we're safe. The world is a better place. And in closing, this movie gets my first loser review. You guys get it? This movie's a loser. I wish if they could go back and just destroy all the copies that this film was made, the world would be a better place. If they went in and told the director of this film, get rid of this film. Everybody throw your copy away, throw it in the garbage where it belongs. And like I said, the world would be a better place. You know, we'd finally find a cure for carbon dioxide or global warming or something, and something would happen that was good, because this film is not. This is a loser of a film that I would like to forget. And if I actually see it, I think I'd slap myself again for actually watching. I sat down and watched this film, guys, but thankfully I got it from the Red Box, and that makes it good enough for me. This is the Cutting Edge Review.